And yeah, today we're going to be talking about how we're on our journey to get to a million and how we are going backwards. You got to go backwards sometimes to go forwards, and that sometimes is right now. Right now, we're going backwards. And so this is the unfortunate reality of uh, business is it's not always up. Thought it was always up. It's not always up. Okay, why isn't business always up?
It's kind of like weight loss.
It's kind of like relationships. It's kind of like emotions, feelings, friendships, the weather. It's kind of like everything follows a similar framework.
What's that song? Like you're in and you're out, you're up and you're down, you
Uh,
yes and you're no.
yeah, yeah. You're a human. That's what that song should say. Equals you're a human. If you're a human, those are all the things that equate with being a human. And yeah, I think that's the goal. That's the goal for this call is just to inform inform the business home cleaning business community of the realities of being in the home cleaning business is it's not always up, and also it's not always down. So if you're going through a down, there could potentially be an up after that. And when I say potentially, it just depends. Like time does not allow you to go up or down. It's your inputs over the course of time that means you're gonna go up or down. So when we share why business is going down, it's because of what we did, or maybe it's because of what we didn't do, is why our business is going down. It's not because of the market. It's not because of anything external. It's only because of what we failed to recognize what we needed to do internally. And especially as we start to change seasons, seasonal market changes are real. Every market has seasonal changes. Summertime is there's a change. Wintertime there's a change. And I think it's important to understand that there's headwinds and tailwinds. And if we understand that in some markets, when we move into summer, we might have a tailwind, which means that everybody wants cleans. People move into this market, um, and we experienced that a lot in Bozeman, our first location, is that we get a little bit of tailwind. And so for the last 5 years, we've always got a little bit of tailwind during this time. Normal. However, in Arizona, in the middle of summertime, it's a headwind. A lot of people are not coming to Arizona. People who live here are going somewhere else because of the summer. Again, in summer in Arizona is actually much different than it is in Montana. Hence the reason that Katie and I actually been living in both those places. However, now we are officially in Arizona, and yeah, there's a headwind. And one of the things that we actually I heard another cleaning business owner down here specifically. She said that yeah, in the summertime, like I just I just I just don't grow. I just I scale my ads back, and yeah, I just know that this is not a season to grow. And yeah, and she's right. By the way, she is right. She doesn't grow. She hasn't grown, and she also takes all of her vacations, all of her trips during this time, and she's just not doing any inputs in order for the business to grow. So therefore, she is correct. This is a slow season for her. And last year, we grew during the season, and right now, we were above where we were last year during the season. So then, like we're growing, even though from last month we are going backwards. Like during this season of the external season of the summer, like we are bigger than we are last year, and we will grow more during this season because it has little to do with the season, and it has everything to do with what inputs that we do. And so, is there a headwind against us? Yes, there is. But a headwind just means that we have to do more. We have to work harder. It's harder for us to get new clients. It's harder for us to keep clients, which means that our activity, our inputs just need to go up during the season. And then in October, when we get a little tailwind behind us, we just continue to do that same amount of inputs. Now we don't have a headwind against us, and we just continue the inputs, and all of a sudden we grow faster. And if you see your markets and seasonal changes like that, like headwinds and tailwinds, then there's certain times where you're gonna be going against the wind, and you're like, man, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. And you're right, it is. But the only way that you're not able to continue to grow is if you just stop. You're like, this is too hard. I can't do this. It's impossible. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the capability. And that is a story that could be true. And if you want to make it true, then just like stop. Just stop marketing. Just stop hiring. Just stop investing, and you will make that true. And you will be right. Great job. Way to feed your ego. You are right. And you are also wrong. And that's why you will stay poor and you'll stay broke, is because of your thoughts, your stories that you tell yourself. And there also is a story that you could tell yourself that you could actually grow. And I can tell you, people more successful than me, they grow when other people are shrinking. They grow when other people are going backwards. And it's because they understand that growth is not external, it's internal. It's you. When you grow, your business falls behind it. So yes, when you have a headwind, is it harder to go against the wind? Do you have thoughts? Do you want to quit? Yes. But do you? And that's a decision that you make. The market doesn't make that. The wind against you is not making the decision. You make the decision. And so if you want to grow $1 million home cleaning business, which is the whole point of what we're talking about today, you're going to face headwinds. And when you face headwinds, you can blame the market and the season. You can blame external conditions for the reason why you're not growing. And you'll feel really good about it. And you'll sleep really good at night knowing that it's not your fault. It couldn't be you. You're so smart and intelligent and so perfect. It could not be you. Or if you actually want to grow and you want to get better, then you believe that you're not good enough. And so what do you need to do to grow your capacity? What do you need to get stronger so you can face the headwinds? And so expectations. One of the things that will make you have a good day versus a bad day. If you expect it to be hard and it's easy, you're so happy. If you expect it to be easy and it's just a little hard, you're like, oh, bad day. That was too hard. My 6-year-old Lainey is like my favorite person to learn human behavior from, because as a child, like she only knows what she has been taught and what she sees. And with a child, their their lab room is very small. It is like our house, right? And then as they get older and older, all of a sudden their lab gets bigger. And so Lainey is just my reminder of human behavior at its finest. And if you guys start to see your business as just a big game of human behavior and just understanding, like, your job is to understand how humans respond in certain situations, how clients respond when you give them the price, how clients respond when you give them your policies and procedures. How do your cleaners respond to your wages? How do your cleaners respond to your incentives? And when you understand that this is just a game of human behavior, you have a higher probability of winning the game, because that's really what it is. Business is just a big human behavior game. And one of my mentors, Dr. Kashi, was the one who helped me really understand this. And that's why he's a really good business coach, even though he doesn't necessarily have really big businesses, is because he understands humans at a very high level. And when you understand humans at a very high level, then you're able to predict what they're going to do in certain situations based on previous behaviors. Because I was on a call this morning, and Lucas, I don't know if Lucas is on here, but we were going through the client cancellations, and he's like, oh, Deborah. She was on there as a canceled first time clean. He's like, she canceled when I sold her months ago. He's like, unbelievable. And I was like, believable. She's already done it once. So the probability of her doing it again, very believable. And that's what humans are. Like, if humans do things one time, their probability of doing it again increases. And so all the things that we believe that are unbelievable, it's like, oh my gosh, I have a cleaner. She called out. She always calls out. Unbelievable. Right? It's unbelievable when people do different things than they normally have done before. But when people do things consistently, then we should believe them. And that's why this game is actually really simple, because we all know that cleaners have reliability issues. And so when they are not reliable, then we believe them. But we also know that when we find somebody who is reliable, then we need to praise them because the probability of them being reliable going forward is also very high. And so we need to incentivize them to continue to be reliable moving forward as well. So, Katie, what should we talk about today?
Let's talk about going backwards.
I'm going backwards. Yeah. So we're talking about going backwards. And, one of the reasons that we went backwards is because we lost 14 of 16 cleaners in the span of about 3 months. And it's really hard to continue to grow a business when you lose your product, you lose your people, you lose the people who your clients are expecting to show up, and you also just lose your workforce. And in this business, there's only one way you make money: cleaners cleaning. And so this month, we ended, well, in billed revenue, we only ended up less than I think $10,000, but in collected money, it was almost $15,000 from collected money from last month, which is quite a bit. And profit-wise, $13,000 negative this month. Now it was a 5 payroll month as well, so a lot of people were going to feel smaller margins if you're looking at it from a monthly standpoint, which is also why I recommend always looking at things on a quarterly standpoint, because over the quarter you're going to account for all those things. However, $13,000 negative it's not a fun number to see, but it's the reality of losing all your cleaners, investing a lot of money into marketing, training 4 to 5 people every single week, and most of them not working out. You run into majority of your revenue going all to wages. You still have to pay for marketing, you have to pay for office, you have to pay for all the other rent, all the other things that go with owning a business. And so this is the game we play. And it's cool because looking at that now, I am more committed today and more confident today that we're going to turn this thing into $1 million business than I was 3 months ago. I'll tell you guys why. So this weekend we did a group deck in a day. We had five cleaning businesses come out here to Arizona, and we got to hang out with them, and we got to do some cool things. And they all got to actually share their stories amongst each other. And then after they shared their stories, I just noticed a couple things that I had to share with everybody. And I was like, one of the really cool things when everyone was sharing their stories, what it was like, the consistency amongst all these people. And by the way, just for reference, the smallest person who was there's business was doing $45,000 a month, and then the biggest person there was doing $130,000 a month. So that was kind of the range, everywhere in between there. I think someone else was doing 90, and someone else was doing 70, and then 60, I think was the other one. So decent sized businesses. One of the parts that I was I see myself as a dad, right? Proud dad moment is that one of the questions that they talked about in the presentation is well, what do I need to do to get better? Or what do I need to do for my business to grow? That's what it was. And every single one of them talked about what they needed to do. They talked about it was about me. It wasn't about a market. It wasn't about anything external. It was I need to get better at this. I am the problem, therefore I'm the solution. And it was just one of those proud dad moments. And I was like, wow, these guys are brainwashed. they've been listening. They've been listening to me for way too long. But whether it's true or not, it's so empowering to believe you're the one who can fix it. Whether it's true or not, it's empowering to believe that you're the one who can fix it. And one of the other things that we talked about too is that every single person in there had gone through a backwards moment. They had gone backwards. And the backwards moments are the ones that give you confidence, because they're the ones that force you to commit more, to commit deeper. Because it's easier to work hard and to have a positive attitude and to be optimistic when your business is going up. But your confidence comes from continuing to do the inputs, continuing to be optimistic, continuing to believe when your business goes down. And I believed that this moment would come, and so I was prepared to some degree. Like you're never fully prepared, but I was prepared as well as I possibly could. And to say that it shook me would be 100% fair, because again, I didn't. You never know when it's going to come, but you're like, it's probably going to come. Like after you've been in business for a while, you that there's going to be a moment where things don't go as planned. You stop growing, and you never know why. Otherwise, you would have solved it before it happened. But this is actually one of the things I learned from Layla, and this was like such a little nuance. But like you can never try to solve the problem ahead of time. You actually have to wait to solve it in the moment. And this was something that I remember learning from Layla. So this is when I was working for Gym Launch, and we were doing a company retreat, and they had started a second company. So they had Gym Launch, but then they started a second company called Prestige Labs, which was a supplement company that served the Gym Launch business, right? So all the gym owners, like that's who they serve, gym owners. We would get people in for membership, and then we did like nutrition consultations, and at those nutrition consultations, we would always upsell them supplements. And so Alex was like, well, why don't I just make the supplements? And that way I can give you guys supplements that are best for your customers, and then I can make money. You guys can make money together, right? Like do this all together. And so they started Prestige Labs, which was a company that served the gym owners that he sold in Gym Launch. And so before Prestige Labs opened, Leia was like, we knew how much support we needed for Gym Launch, so we just assumed we needed that many people for Prestige Labs. And I remember they hired, I can't remember the exact number, guys, so like bear with me on this. But it was a crazy number. It was like somewhere between 25 to 50 support people for Prestige Labs. Right? They hired all these people. Like they went on a mass hiring spree. They had all these people ready for when they launched Prestige Labs. And 6 months later, or less than 6 months later, they realized they could do it with just 5 people. And they had to fire every single one of those support people because they were trying to solve a problem that they assumed that they were going to have. And I remember that. Actually, I don't think I've ever told that story to anybody before. I remember that happening. I was just like, dang, like that's it's tough. And yeah, so like we want to try to solve these hypothetical problems that we have, and the reality is like you don't really know until they actually happen. And so we didn't know how it was going to happen or why it was going to happen, but it has now happened. And so yeah, our problem was we didn't communicate clearly with our current cleaners about the direction of the company. And Katie and I were the ones who brought on almost all of these cleaners. They were onboarded, and they had one-on-ones with either Katie or I. And then when we started to transition away from like being the operators of the business, and we moved Keziah into the not just the office, but also like the general manager role, where she became responsible. In order for Keziah to actually become responsible, Katie and I needed to not be responsible. And I think that's the part from a leadership standpoint that is that most like especially like most employees, they don't understand, and it's not their job to understand. By the way, it's our job to be able to communicate that, and that's what I learned through this is like I needed to communicate that, and I didn't, and so they felt they couldn't go to Keziah. They felt like me and Katie were abandoning them, that we didn't care about them. It's almost like if your mom or dad just like stopped talking to you, and they're like, actually, just talk to the nanny instead, right? Or just talk to this other person instead, and didn't explain why. Then you would feel like you weren't loved. You would feel like you weren't appreciated, and that's what happened. And yeah, and so that was one of the roots of the problem. And another root of the problem was that we were so focused on continuing to grow the revenue that we left poor cleaners on the team at the expense of them having to work with the great cleaners on the team. And the great cleaners got sick and tired of working with shitty people. And we're like, but we can't grow the revenue if we don't have enough cleaners. And so we chose to grow the revenue versus choosing to serve our cleaners and put the best teammates around them. And that was a big mistake that we made as well. And
So the whole team dropped to the lowest standard on the team.
And so the whole team dropped to the lowest standard. That's actually great. It's great. And it's tough. Yeah, we lost all of our good cleaners and we kept all of our shitty cleaners. And it was a rough time. And so having to like cycle back around now, find good cleaners, now being very conscious of that concept, how we tactically solved the first problem of just communicating was like, there's only two people. And so, now they know Kazai is in charge, right? I mean, unfortunately, like that's the reality of that situation. And so nobody else on the team like has ever had a one-on-one with either Katie and I outside of the team meeting, like, and including our house, they don't even know who we are. Like they go to Kazaya. Like Kazaya, like when they have problems with their pay, when they have problems with their cleaners, when they have problems with their clients, like they go to Kazaya. It's like Kazaya is their person. And so we've coached Kazaya up on being able to handle that. And like she wants it. She does a great job with it. She's learning. She's new. She's been with the company since July. So she's been with the company the longest that anybody else has, but she's still new. Like she's still less than a year into the business itself and then into this role. But she wants it. And she keeps changing her behavior every time that she gets coaching. She keeps implementing. She keeps trying new things, and even like today's team meeting. This is like her probably fifth or sixth team meeting that she's done on her own. And between her first one to now, like outstanding, like just so much better. And it took feedback. It took me like, hey, like here's some feedback for you. And as Lainey would say today, so Lainey had advice. So one of the slides that Kazaya puts up the team meeting is like any cleaner wisdom, right? And so the cleaners can go around and they can give things that are working. So this is something that anybody in here can do. You guys are doing team meetings. This has been something that has been new that she did. I really like. And the cleaners will talk about, well, if you use like Katie, what was one of the things you probably know this better than I do. I kind of like zone out a little bit when this happens because I'm not sure what that product really does, but I'm sure it sounds cool.
Yeah, I can't even recall a cleaner wisdom, but like barkeeper's friend on a porcelain sink would be a great example.
Yeah. Or the like turning the lights off when you're doing mirrors. I thought that one was
Yeah.
actually really cool. So like that way the heat doesn't dry it out. Just little things that cleaners get all geeked out about. Um, and so, and then somebody, I can't remember what somebody said, but then Lenny raised her hand and was talking about, oh no, the next slide was being able to communicate with your teammates when there is issues. And then Lainey raised her hand and she's like, feedback. She's like, feedback is like telling somebody the truth even when they don't want to hear it or something like that. It
Even
was
when it's not nice, is what she
even
said.
when it's
But
not nice. That's what it was. Giving feedback even when it's not nice. And just was really good. It was really good because that's really what you want from your leader, but also like what you want from like just make sure we're on the same page. It's like being told the truth even when it's not nice, even when it doesn't feel good. And that's the kind of culture that we're rebuilding is we just tell the truth. It might not feel nice, might not feel good, but like we tell the truth. And we tell it like it is in a way that's respectful. We have the empathy, and it's not like we don't expect you to be perfect, not whatsoever, but we do expect you to want want to have the best interest of the clients, want to have in the best interest of the teammates. We want to be accountable for your work, and we want to be able to be for you to be reliable. That's all we ask, and we define that as a STAR, right? And the acronym is SERVE, that's an acronym. STAR is an acronym. SERVE is the S, T is teamwork, A is accountable, and R is reliable. And so we have those core values, and we just got away from them. Like that's the reality. Like we started with the core values, we got away from the core values, and we just got so focused on growth at the expense of the core values. And the core values have to lead the growth. And so now we've had to go back in revenue to go up in values. And the people on the team right now, like the culture, if like it's heading in the right direction. That's the best way that I can explain, because culture is also something that is hard to measure. But what I can measure is that last week we had 0 callouts. The week before that we had 1 call out. The week before that we had 0 callouts. And there was a period of time where we were getting like 10 to 15 callouts a week when all this was happening. And people are quitting last second. It was insane. It was the most insane things ever. We were losing cleaners and the people who had on our team were not showing up. It was like this. It was a wild whirlwind. And the culture is getting better. People want to be there. We had a team meeting today, and I also recognized that we had a communication issue with the cleaners understanding that showing up to the team meeting on time was important as well, not just to the client's house, but also to the team meeting. And so the last team meeting we had, which was 2 weeks ago, we actually didn't do a team meeting last week because of the holiday, but 2 weeks ago, I just let everybody know at the end, and I just like took responsibility and I said, hey guys, like I did a bad job of communicating how important it is to show up to team meeting on time. And so the reason why it's important is because it shows respect for your fellow teammates. And it just shows respect for yourself that like this is a job that you want to be at. And so I didn't do a good job of explaining like why that's so important. And so when we have our next team meeting in 2 weeks, I'm going to incentivize you guys to show up. If you don't want to show up, that's totally cool. Punish you, but I'm going to incentivize you. And I'm not going to tell you what the incentive is, but I'm telling you, like, you'll want. And so, again, my goal is just to help you guys understand that it's so important these team meetings on time. And if I have to bribe you to show up, I will. So that's what I said. And today we have 11 graduated cleaners on our team. How many of the cleaners, Katie, showed up before
11 cleaners showed up before 8 a.m.
every single one of them? And it's amazing what a little bit of incentives will do. They didn't even know the incentive. Didn't even matter. They just knew that it was important. There was a bonus that they could show that they were like, I just them know that it was important to me and important to everybody else. And because they realized it was, they made the decision to show up. Right. And so that's why it's important for everyone here to understand, like, what is your job? Like, what job is your business is to have clarity on what is important and then just to continue to emphasize it, to incentivize it, and continue to praise it when you see it. Because by everybody, they got reinforced, they got praised by being able to participate in the game that we played. Right? They got to participate, and then all of a sudden, even though only one person won, everyone was excited and they cheered and it was cool and it was fun. Right? And so next week, we're going to do it again. We're going to continue to reinforce this theme of doing what most people would expect to do. You should just show up on time. That's part of the job. Right? When you guys are thinking that or thought that. And this is why, like, if you have, like, the probability of you winning is low. Because you have to understand humans, and like humans just need to, why it's important. And only you, it's important to you, but it's not important to them. And so how to be an amazing business owner is to communicate what you to your people, to your spouse, to your kids, because they don't know what's going on in your head. You have told yourself the story 1,000 times, have only heard it 0 times. What? 0 times. Right? Is it cutting out, Kitty? I was wondering if this was going to be an issue. A mic issue.
It wasn't at first, but
Yeah. I was prepared for this issue. I've been having this issue. Just it comes and goes. Okay. So expectations. That is like just having the expectation that of humans will do what's in their best interest, and humans will only do what they feel is important to them. And so when you understand what is important to them and you can pair what's important to them with also what you want, and you can incentivize that, then all of a sudden you get this harmonious relationship of like, oh, this person's amazing. Like they help me so much. They're so valuable to my business. They're so valuable to my life. It comes back to your communication to them and for you to understand what's going on in their head. So then you can understand like what their goals are, align it with your goals, and create an incentive that works for both parties. It works every time. The part that most people won't do is they won't actually ask the question what's important to them. They won't do the thinking like what would be important to them. Even if you don't have the opportunity to ask them individually, like what would be important to them? Like if somebody, like why do people work for you? Because they like it or because you give them money? Right? I mean, at the root of it, like if you stop paying your team money, would they still work for you even though they liked you? So understand that like they work for you conditionally because you pay them money. So there's also a good chance that like if you gave them more money, they would also like that. Right? So just sometimes having an understanding of like the reality of the situation, the conditions that are in place in relationships will help you be able to incentivize them, even if you don't have the opportunity to ask them like what is important to them. Sometimes you can like make really you can make judgments based on like prior decisions they made to understand that there's a high probability that the reason they're here is for money. If I gave them more money, that would probably incentivize them. And so the culture. And now when all the cleaners have problems, like they go to Keziah because like that's their person, right? And Keziah is making an active effort to go talk to her cleaners and communicate with her cleaners and like praise her cleaners because you know what? She just went through a mass exodus. Like she went through it. She had 14 cleaners leave her. And like imagine how that makes her feel when she was like, I'm not good enough. Right? Could you guys imagine if you had 14 people leave because of you, or you thought it was because of you? Because and it had nothing to do with her actually. It had everything to do with Katie, eh? But high probability that she took it as her. Right? And why I'm so confident is because of how she's responded and how like she continues to get better. She continues to ask questions. And instead of seeing it as like a negative thing, she's like, I'm like, you can see the gratitude in her eyes at the team meeting, like how grateful she is for the team now. And you don't get gratitude without going through pain. The very first day that she was in the office, she was doing sales and she had probably like 5 or 6 quote calls scheduled. Katie, do you remember this? This was my favorite stories. Do you remember what she said?
Mm-mm.
I was like, I was like, you have 5 or 6 calls scheduled. Like, probably only half are going to show up. And she was like, no, no, no. Everybody's going to show up. Everybody's good. She's like, no, they're all going to show up. I was like, okay. um, and then after that became the running joke of just like she just believes that everybody is good. She has that innate. She just like sees the goodness in people, and she also is smart enough to recognize the reality of the situation when only 50% of people showed up. And then in interviews, all the same process. And so it was good to see her go from like being naive on just not knowing to now like having the reality of the situation and still seeing greatness in people. It hasn't jaded her. It hasn't made her think that like everybody sucks. She just really sees it for the way it is, but she also still sees the good in people. And to see her response to the situation has been like, man, just it's made me confident, which is why I sit here today being like very confident in where we're going, is because I see the team and I see that they see themselves in her. They're like, I see a leader. I see a leader who continues to pour into me, who actually cares about me. And again, like that authenticity comes from pain. Like as much as like we want it to come from just like the goodness, the goodness of our hearts, like a lot of love and a lot of authenticity comes from pain. It comes from challenge. It comes from overcoming. And it really at that point becomes like, what story are you going to tell yourself? Are you the victim of like, I can't believe this happened to me, nobody likes me, I can't handle this, I'm not good enough? Or
Blaming.
blaming? Yeah. Or it's like, man, I got to figure out how to get better, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to get better, and I'm gonna continue to believe people are good. And yeah, just so we're on the right track, even though the revenue and the profit are going down. I am more committed to this business than ever before. I'm more confident in this business than ever before, and it's just going to continue to do the right things, continue to spend money on marketing, do phone interviews, do Zoom interviews, offer people jobs, onboard people, train people, celebrate them graduating, celebrating them making their 5 perfect weeks of attendance, celebrating them making their 10 perfect weeks of attendance, celebrate them making their 45th perfect week of attendance, celebrating their first review, their 10th review, their 20th review. It's just continuing to celebrate people and letting them know that they're appreciated. And what they're doing matters. And they matter, most importantly. We had this
Yeah.
really nice we had this really nice review left. Well, 2 of them. One's name is Alyssa and one's name is Sadie, and they're both just like really good humans. And Sadie left a really nice review, and yeah, she was part of that transition. And it was funny because this was probably like 6 or 7 weeks back. She was like, she's not stupid. She's like, I'm just curious. Like this was a question she asked at the team meeting in front of everybody. She's like, I'm just curious. Like, why is everybody leaving? Like, I just am genuinely curious. Like, I love it here. I don't understand. And it was cool. It was cool because I just helped her explain basically what I just told you guys, and I took the responsibility, and again, it was it was us. And she wrote a really nice review for the company, a really long review, and yeah, it was her 40th review. So she hit her last $250 bonus, and so she did her full she got her full $1,000 new employment bonus, and it just happened to be that the company hit 500 reviews as well. And so yeah, just kind of one of those like full circle moments that it all came at the same time. And so while the revenue is going down, profits are going down, the values of the business are now being shown more throughout the cleaners, and it's in the office, and we just have to continue to do the we got to continue to do the work, and the work doesn't ever stop either. It doesn't ever stop, and this is just a season. And like again, I'm more confident when I'm able to see people's responses when things are not going as planned, and to see that they continue to show up and continue to do the work. Like that's what gives me confidence. And so again, while I never wish it upon myself by interested in things, because I know it's going to come. If I don't know when it's going to come, I'm always curious to see how somebody responds when things get hard.
It's really easy to respond Yahoo when things are going in our favor and be positive and continue to input the work when things are going as expected or we are getting the reinforced outcomes. But when you have to do the inputs required to get the outcomes and the outcomes are not there, but the person continues to show up and continues to do the inputs, like it shows who they truly are. And I think that's where the conviction in this company right now is it's truly the conviction in the person who's leading the company. And Keziah has shown who she really is, not only when it's sunshine and rainbows, but now also when it's a thunderstorm and there's lightning and thunder every couple seconds. And she's persevered through it and risen through it. And to watch her continue to put a smile on her face and show up for everybody it's so awesome. It's so fun to be a part of. And it just makes me know that we are capable of overcoming these things and very convicted in the leader of that company.
Yeah. And the second big thing is just the amount of work that let's me define work, inputs that we're doing on recruiting. And so in order to keep the culture high and now again, because I don't want to just have a company where cleaners are awesome, but we don't actually grow revenue, because when there's no revenue, there's no profit. And then that's not good for the business from the owners or for the office staff, so they can grow their money as well. And so in order to be able to make both those things happen now, because I still want to grow the revenue, we're still talking about going to $1 million. That's not going to stop. Our strategy had to change. And so we just needed to do more inputs on recruiting. So that way, when we had bad cleaners, we could get the asses out quicker, and we could bring a new beautiful, I shouldn't say beautiful because these are generally girls, but we had a new person, a new person come in today, or new people come in every single week. And so that was really the goal. We just had to increase our inputs. So if we wanted to cut people faster, we had to be able to bring more people in. And so that's what we did. And so now we definitely bring on people who are bad, but they also get off the team really quick. Like we don't give them a week. We used to give them 2 or 3 weeks. Now, like if they have like one red flag in the first day, it's like we're making a phone call and letting them know. And if they repeat that red flag right away, then like they're gone. So we're quick. But that's because we have 5. Like right now, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys our pipeline. It is wild. It is wild. And it is also wildly expensive. And that's also why we're not profitable. But again, if you're committed to having the value of the cleaners there, then you gotta commit with your money. You gotta commit with your resources. So let's do this. Let me show you guys. I think this is the longest time I've ever not shown the vision sheet. Almost 45 minutes. Katie did. I do good. I was actually just stalling. Have you guys realized this about stalling? Because the vision sheet just got done. Okay. All right. Can you guys see the sheet? Can you see
Yep.
this? Perfect. Cool. I should go. Cool. I see the chat blowing up a little bit too. Okay. So this is the Mesa 5-star vision sheet, week number 64. We've been in business for 64 weeks. We ended the month with 59,000 in build revenue. Again, if you guys saw our books, we only collected 53 of it. So no bueno, no good. But you guys can see that last 30 days revenue, it's consistently gone down. and it continues to go down. However, optimistic. We're going to turn this thing around. I think that it's coming soon. It's coming soon. So next week after that, we've been going down from the numbers. You can see here. But look at this, 45,000. This actually went up. So this number is going back up. I like to see that. That's good to see. And look at that. Despite us going down, our business from the last 12 months, it went up from $620,000 a trailing 12 months revenue to 631. So if you guys are unfamiliar with that term, trailing 12 months revenue, think about it like this was done on 5/30/25. So this is our last 12 months revenue from 5/30/24 to 5/20/25. And so you can see over the course of the last 4 weeks, it's still going up. And Katie, why is it still going up, even though our business has been going down from the last couple of weeks?
Because a year ago, we are still, even though in comparison to 4 weeks ago, we are down, 12 months ago, we are still drastically up.
Yeah, we're up almost $9,000 than we were last week at this time. So that's why the number is important. Okay. Current monthly revenue, again, $58,000. Weekly revenue, $12,000. So you can see here that it's been very inconsistent, 15,000, 12,000, almost 13, 14, 13, 12. And what's been cool in these weeks right here, though, is that we've just like before this, we started losing cleaners, but then the last couple of weeks, we actually been firing cleaners. We've been actually cutting like some of the cleaners who had been here for, again, nobody's been here for that long, but for like a month or two, that just like they just weren't cutting it. And so, yeah, we just love to see the confidence in us cutting people who are not stars and doing it quickly, because we have a fat pipeline of people coming in that we really do believe can be stars. Recurring clients, 155. Again, kind of, you see it went down drastically over here, and now it's kind of hovering, which I'm not sure how accurate this number is, because at the bottom I see that we actually got a lot of recurring clients. So to check that number. Weekly cleans, 54. Revenue per clean, 225. Those numbers look fine. 15 cleaners. I don't know if that number is accurate or not. Sign cleaning hours, 19 and 212. So this is the first time that I've seen this as it's been filled out. It wasn't done as of this morning. So we'll verify some of these numbers as we get to the bottom. Current monthly revenue, yeah, you can see here was 58, and then 12,000 was this week. 5,000 was initial clean, and 7,000 was reoccurring. So we did a good job on our initial cleans, and our reoccurring is just poor, poor. The problem with losing a lot of cleaners is you're going to lose recurring clients who want their same cleaners. So that's why you want to keep your cleaners as long as you can. Outstanding invoices, again, we only collected $53,000. So that's tough. It's tough. Less than 7 days, $4,000 outstanding, and then 2,000 greater than 7 days. So again, this number is also very alarming. We had 3 correction cleans. We probably did send a text out. I just don't see it on there. Most positive we sent a text out. Google local services, we spent $649. Facebook, we spent $1,200. We spent $1,800 on marketing. Last week, we got 55 Facebook leads, 9 missed calls, 20 Google local service leads. That's insane. I've never seen that many before. Crazy.
Awesome.
4 homepage leads. That's actually really low from what we normally get. And then 10 incoming call leads. We got 102 leads total, $18 per lead. So about normal. We only had 1 spot unfilled last week. Yeah, they did a great job, because I and BJ did a great job filling the schedules last week. That was one of the things that I just was really proud of them for filling the current cleaner schedules, because if we can't fill our current cleaner schedules, then it's going to be tough to keep these awesome people if we don't get them hours and get them money, because they work for you because they want money. If you guys realize that. 40 spots open. Keziah, BJ, and Elia. Ooh, we see Elia on here today. Elia's making some phone calls. Sweet. We had 220 calls made, 38 calls answered, 23 calls missed, 27 quote calls scheduled, 21 showed, 47 performed. So great number there. 37 quotes booked, out freaking standing. And then, 30 booked. Sorry, 30 booked. Goal was 37, but look at that. We did $10,000 of projected revenue, and our goal is 9,300. So we exceeded the goal. Great to see. And this was one of the first times I've seen the conversions up this high. This is probably due to actually having good freaking cleaners. Is now we had 9 conversions in a week. We haven't seen that for at least 3 or 4 months. I haven't seen that number so high. So, the conversion process, like I'm more convicted more than ever now, like how important that conversion process is like, if your cleaners just do what is expected of them, that the expectation is set to them on a phone call, and then they do more, and they're just like friendly and they're confident, then like the probability of somebody wanting you back in your home increases drastically. And again, we used to get 7, 8, 9 conversions. It would not be uncommon, and it has been a very long time since I've seen this number. So out freaking standing. This number is outstanding too. So again, proud of the team for hiring the right people, getting the right people, getting the wrong people off the team, and then giving the right people opportunities, and then filling the freaking right people's schedules. So great job here. Really cool to see. So, and like I said last week, if you guys remember, was the first week ever that we have not hit our goal for projected quote revenue. So last week our goal was 7,000. We only did 4,000, and that was the first time in 64 weeks that we have not exceeded our quote projected revenue goal. So again, like I wasn't concerned because like the other 63 weeks we had done it, and again this week we're back at it again. So and it's even harder. Like the more money that you spend, this number gets higher because it's just a 5-to-1 ratio. So like if you spend more money on marketing, you have to sell more. You have to sell more cleans. That's the challenging part. So like if you guys are only spending $500 a week, that means you only have to book $2,500 in order for you to hit your goal, in order to get a 5-to-1. So the less money you spend, it's easier. But if you want to make big money, you got to spend big money, which means you just have to get better. And so anytime someone's like asking, or if you're asking yourself, when should I increase my ad spend? My answer would be to you, well, like, what is your marketing ratio? Like, if you're currently not getting 5-to-1, you're getting 3-to-1, you want to increase your ad spend, like low probability you're going to be able to do that when you spend more money. But if you're getting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-to-1, then you have an opportunity where you actually can increase your ad spend and see if you can now just sell more people. So these numbers are cool to see. Client fulfillment, we had 54 cleans, 33 were new clients. That's outstanding. That's actually crazy. That's a lot of new cleans. So again, great job on the sales department. We had so many like same day. We had a lot of same day bookings. We had a lot of next day bookings, and so that's the benefit of like continuing to bring on new cleaners, is that you can serve your clients even better, because most cleaning companies aren't willing to take the risk to be able to have same day or next day bookings because they generally don't have the skills to be able to fill a schedule so last minute. But we do, and so that's also how we can grow fast. And so we had 3 correction cleans, 155 recurring clients, 152 occasional clients. Yeah, 9 conversion sales last week, almost 30%, and then 10 reviews last week. We're at 502, 502 5-star reviews in 64 weeks. So yeah, I feel like there's a process to that, Katie. I feel like there's a process to that.
And when followed,
And when followed, it works. Guys want to know a funny story? I'll tell you guys a funny story real quick. So I told you guys that we lost a lot of our cleaners, and actually 8 of them went to a different company, all to the exact same company, which was a relatively new company. And at the time, they had probably probably 30 or 40 reviews.
yeah, I think it was like around 40.
Yeah, and they were a relatively new company. They had been in business in June. So the reason we know this is because they reached out to us. They want, anyway, long story short, we know who they were. Okay. And then they'd only been in business since June. So they've been probably now for a year, and they only have about 30 or 40 reviews. And then all of a sudden, when all of our cleaners went over there, how many reviews do they have now?
90.
90. Yeah. And so I was like, good job. Like, way to follow the freaking system. It works. Right. And so at the end of the day, like I care more about the system. Like I want the system to be good, so that way anybody who uses it can get predictable results. And it just was one of those moments I was like, great freaking job. Like, way to actually implement it. Like, it freaking works. So just do it. And so for all you guys who have access to the 5-star reviews training, like if you're not getting reviews, like you're just not implementing. Like that's it. You're just not doing it because it works. It works. It just does. So we had 2 people who canceled the recurring service, and then we had 9 recurrings. So this is pretty cool to see. 2740, like that's outstanding. And then canceled cleans during the week. We had $1,900 fall off the schedule last week. So nothing crazy there. And then here's what I want to show you guys. I want to show you our cleaner acquisition. So applicant ad spend, we only spent 174, but we got 34 applicants. We had 40 phone interviews scheduled, 34 performed. So yeah, this is crazy. So BJ is doing this. It's a great freaking job. A lot of work. But this is the work. That's the unsexy work that doesn't make, like, no phone interview is going to make you a single freaking dollar in the moment. But this is what allows us to be able to have this and to be able to cut fast. This is what is valuable. And he pushed 15 of those to Zoom, and we performed 11 of them, and we hired 4 people, right? We're just saying yes. We're just saying yes, and we're letting people with their actions just say no. So if they don't show up to onboarding, fine. If you don't show up to your first week of training, fine. If you don't show up in your scrubs, fine. Right? Like they basically just weed themselves out. Okay. And so yeah, so last week we had 2. These people were trainees, and then Josie was I would say a longer tenured employee. She's been with us for probably like 4 months. About now, probably 3 months. Probably 3 months. Yeah, but we never had to let her go. So you can see here's our pipeline. You can see you see lots of reds, but look at all the rest of the people in between. Olivia graduated. She awesome so far. Alondra and Krista were at the team meeting today. I think Alondra's at her house right now. She's going to do her test clean. Dev graduated as well. Awesome. She actually won the prize today. And then I saw Landon show up to the team meeting. After the team meeting, he showed up today to get his stuff. And then Cassia showed up as well. And then one other person showed up. Haley or Catherine. One of these girls didn't make it. I don't know who didn't make it. One of these girls didn't make it, but one of them did. So there's 3 girls this morning, or there's 3 people this morning. And then look at this. Look at this, guys. You guys actually, nobody would know this actually. Nobody would know this because her last name is different. But who is this, Katie?
That's our oldest daughter.
Yeah, she's on summer break. So she went through the interview process. Katie and I did not give her a job. She said she wanted to work for the cleaning company. And so we're like, we'll see because I want you. So she went through, she got online and she got she did the application. She had a phone interview with BJ. BJ pretended he didn't know who she was, and then pushed her to a Zoom interview with Keziah. And then Keziah did the Zoom interview, and then Aliyah Nader, must say Yater apparently. And then we were too busy, like we had too many people for onboarding this week, so she had to get pushed next week. And that's she got treated just like anybody else would. Like she got 0 special treatment. And I think that is what is going to set her up for success, because she has, if anything, she's going to have it harder than anybody else does, not easier. She will have to work harder to get respect, because everyone else will think that she's getting respect when the reality is she gets nothing. She gets nothing more than anybody else. And that is also the reason why she's the potential to be the best. So that's our pipeline right now. It's a fat pipeline. And then our cleaners last week, I'm not sure. This is definitely not correct. Alyssa was here all day, so I don't know. That's wrong. But yeah, so our cleaners hours, decent hours. Again, we'll have to double check Sierra's or Alyssa's because that doesn't look correct. She was there she was here all week, right, Kitty?
Yeah, it's 36.
36. Yeah, I'll say it's quite a bit different. So 36 hours. And yeah, our trainees got good hours too. Again, April and Tracy, they didn't make it, but Alondra and Krista did. So this is just the math, guys. Half people are going to make it. That's what it comes down to. Correction cleans, we had 3. And then look at these one-on-ones. This is what I'm talking about. Had to let her go. Had to let her go. Had to let her go. So there's 3 of these one-on-ones are just having to fire people, and then just loving on people. Heidi, Savy, Dev, Alyssa, right? So these are just we have more clarity on what Keziah's job is in order for us to grow this company, and now because she has more clarity, she's just doing the required inputs in order to do it. So super exciting. So again, although it appears that we're going backwards, I think that we're building something better and something stronger. Just it's fun. It's fun learning. It's fun going through this process and seeing what works, what doesn't work, because we've been in this business now for 5 years, and we thought we knew what we were doing when we started it. And 1 year ago to where we know now is we had no idea what we were doing a year ago. And we had already had a business that did $1.3 million. So it's going to take a while for us to, it'll take us forever for us to really know how to grow a business. But we're learning. And I think at the end of the day, that's all we can expect. Is just, we're all learning, guys. And we're on different timelines. And one of the coolest things that I'll share, and then we'll get off here. Anna Harris, what's up, my friend? Anna Harris is one of the people who was out here this weekend, so she heard me talk about this. But when everybody was doing the presentation, the person who was the youngest in age had the biggest revenue business. And I thought it was important for everyone to understand why. Because most people, when they look at timelines, they look at chronological age. They look at how old someone has been alive for. But the reality is although that the person who had the biggest business was the youngest in age, she had her business the longest. She had started her business when she was it 15 or 16?
16, I think.
16 years old, like legitimately started her business at 16 years old. And it's not about chronological age. It's about how much time you have been in business for. That's the first thing. But then the second thing is like, what are you doing in your business? Like inside that time frame, because you can just be in business for a long time. Like there's been people in business who've been leaders for 20 plus years and their business is still doing less than $30,000 a month or $20,000 a month or whatever it is, right? So it's not just time, but time does matter, but not how old you are, how long you've been in business for. And then the second piece of that is like, what are you doing inside your business? Because there's just between being in business for 20 years versus like making phone calls and sales and hiring cleaners. And have you been marketing for 20 straight years? Have you been investing money for 20 straight years? Have you been onboarding cleaners for 20 straight years? And I can tell you, if your business is less than $30,000 a month or $20,000 a month, like the answer to that would be absolutely not. Because if you would have, your business would be bigger. That's just, it just would. Like that's just how the inputs work. So yeah. So for all you guys, just understand like some of you guys have been in business for like a couple years. That's it. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Maybe you're brand new to business. Like don't compare your 1 year. Like this is my 12th year now in business. There's just some things that I've learned along the way. I've just made some more mistakes. And I also like have had multiple types of businesses. So I just have more perspective. And I also coach other people. So I also have more perspective on top of that. And so but what you can take from all that is you can take my wisdom and you can take my thoughts and you can shortcut some of your beliefs and be like, oh, there's probably something there that he knows that I don't know. And that's really the value of this, is that like the whole point of us doing this for free, doing it live, is that really is to help you guys shortcut some of these stories that you tell yourself that are just not true. Like it's the market. Like I can't do it. Like I can't charge $55 an hour. There's no way. Not my market. People are price conscious. They're so tight. Like, yeah, welcome to every market in North America. So appreciate you guys for being on here today. I got to get on our Mesa Vision meeting. And yeah, so if you guys are inside the coaching community, super appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for letting me influence your minds. And if you guys are not inside the coaching community, I highly recommend that you talk to someone who's inside the coaching community and just ask them if they get value from it, if they like it. That's what I would do. And then if you are interested in coaching with either Katie or I, then there's an application that you can use to apply, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And just like if you talk to anybody inside the community, you'll recognize that like you'll never ever get hard sold. In fact, we might just say no because we don't know if we can help you or not. That's like the worst case scenario, but you're never going to get pressured. You're never going to get hard sold into anything, because honestly, like just it's not how. That doesn't increase the probability of you growing our business. Like I need you to be committed, because the things that we're going to have you do is going to take a lot of commitment, because it just takes work. There's no secrets. There's no shortcut. Katie's not going to make sales for you. I'm not going to hire for you. I'm not going to market for you. We're going to teach you how to do all those things. So appreciate you guys for showing up today. Happy Monday. Thank you guys for being on this road to a milli. You guys saw the ups for a long time. Now you get to see a down. Now we're just going to see how long it's going to go for. So appreciate you guys. Happy Monday. And if you guys are not inside the community, there's another free call on Friday. Marie is on here today. And so we'll be talking about her business. She's went from 25 to 65K inside the community. And now she's on her journey to go to 83K. So you guys can watch that. Maybe watch her go down. Marie, are you going to go down? Let's not go down. But if you do go down, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. We're going to burn together here. But you guys can get on that call. If you guys are inside the community, then yeah, be on Jessica and Lucas's call on Wednesday, and also the coach call on Wednesday.